Welcome to the Godot community. My name is Mary Mullins, and I'm your Elementary Art PLC moderator. Today's topic shares ideas for activities to close out the school year with. It's important to keep in mind that all of your bonus activities need to align with the Georgia Standards of Excellence. It sounds hard to do, but honestly, it happens organically without even having to put a whole lot of thought into it. As I share different activities today, I'll show you how they align with these standards. I'll be using the fourth grade standards for this webinar. Origami is not my passion nor my strong suit, but I have kids ask me all the time about doing it. Each year about this time, I force myself to learn a new origami project so I can teach it to my older students. I teach origami by demonstrating with a step-by-step process and have the kids follow along. I quickly walk around the room to visually verify that they're all getting it. Since several of my students already do these at home from watching YouTube, I have them assist at their tables with the folds for those students that are struggling. In order to have them help, I confirm that they're truly experts by seeing if they did the fold correctly first. The cool thing about doing origami is some of my not so artsy kids get a chance to shine since it relies heavily on math with symmetry and dividing. I recently found the directions for the blinking origami eye and thought this would be perfect because it fits so many of our state standards and it also incorporates drawing with coloring. Obviously, it covers the one about themes since we're making an eye, and depending on how you approach the coloring part, you can certainly touch base on the elements of art, shape, color, and value, as well as the principles of art, emphasis, movement, rhythm, and unity. You'll be applying drawing as well as coloring techniques with whatever supplies you have available. I'll be using a pencil, a Sharpie, as well as crayons to complete mine. This covers not only 2D, but also three-dimensional since the end product is obviously 3D. I always include the standard about safety in all of my lessons. You can certainly do some research and share the history and art of paper folding that originated in Japan. It's become quite the craze here in the States. As I stated earlier, origami relies heavily on math with symmetry and dividing. To create origami, you don't have to have special origami paper that they sell. You can simply use cheap copy paper. Just so you know, thick drawing paper, it doesn't work well since it involves a lot of folding. The majority of origami projects need a square piece of paper to start with. All you have to do is fold the corner up till it's aligned with the side. Then cut off that extra piece to get that square that's needed. And ta-da! You're ready to start folding. Step one is we want to fold our corners to corner like this, like a triangle. Open it back up and do it the exact same way like this. Now you can see where our center point is. We want to fold the top and bottom corners to the center point. Make a crease. This one as well. And we're going to make another fold. We're going to take this corner and put it in the new fold we just created on both sides. So there we go. On this side. Let's go ahead and roll the center of that line to here on both sides. This is the eyelid, so we don't really want them like overlapping. We want to make them get as close to each other as we can, but not too close. All right. So we want to go ahead and do the eyeball shape right here in the middle. Keep it between those two lines. You can either hand draw it or you can find something around you that's about the size of that circle. So like masking tape, the center of the masking tape. I have this little cardboard template I'm just going to use. So we're going to trace around that. And then we're going to go ahead and draw the pupil. And I like to put a little bit of a shine, like where the light's reflecting on their eye. And then go ahead and trace this. And of course you could use any supplies. I'm just going to trace it with a Sharpie and color with crayon. But whatever you have available, color pencils, markers. Honestly, crayons are my go-to. All right, we're ready to continue folding. So let's get back to where we were. We're going to roll it to here. And we're going to roll it to here. At this point, if you want to color the skin color, you could color all across here. And you could give it eyelashes if you wish. So I'm going to go ahead and throw some eyelashes on here. Let's see, maybe just some like this. Let's flip it over, and we're going to fold this corner to the center point. Good crease. And this one to meet up with it. Oh, for the next one, what we want to do is I'm going to mark it with my pencil so you can kind of see. But we want to find the center point across here. I'm just going to make a little dot and a little dot, a dot, and a dot. All right, so now we're going to make a fold with those dots. It's kind of like connecting the dots. So we're going to fold it over to that dot, to this dot, and make a crease. Now you can let it open back up. You don't have to let them lay on top of each other. We're going to do that all the way around, the dot to the dot. Here again. And the last one. Now, these are your handles. So you just pinch those together. Those are the handles for the back. And here we go. If you just pinch those together, you know, sometimes kids like to staple them or tape them, but then you just sort of can just do like this. Make it a blinking eye. Here's another one where it's been colored. I hope you enjoyed it. I've realized over time that the kids love having intervals to just create without being told or directed in what they have to make. With art centers, the possibilities are endless, depending on what items you have to offer the kids. You can fill art centers with just about anything, including those items that parents have gifted you with as they clean out their closets and basements. As you can see in the standards I've listed here, centers have the potential to cover a crazy amount of them. depending on what you offer and how you present them. Let's take a closer look at the types of art centers that I use and choices that can be offered at them. Through choice and exploration in art centers, students will find out what they're good at and push their own boundaries as they try to see what else they can do. Unlike with schoolwork, they will not be concerned about trying and failing, making them more likely to succeed. With no grades to achieve or judgments to worry about, making their skills blossom. The Drawing and Design Center allows students the opportunity to create and explore. I have a bookshelf devoted to this center for everything needed. I absolutely love giving the students choices on special days. My Drawing and Design Center is stocked with cheap paper, scrap construction paper, stamps, pencils, crayons, color pencils, scissors, various hole punchers, tape, glue, and iPads. You definitely want to give specific instructions before introducing this in order to keep it neat and orderly and for students to not waste. Trust me, those little munchkins can wreak havoc on this quicker than you can blink your eyes. The Drawing and Design Center can certainly stand alone without any of these items, but I personally like to give choices and have found each of these useful in my classroom. How to Draw books are an awesome addition to drawing centers. Not only do they build student confidence when it comes to drawing, they provide practice in following directions and paying attention to detail. You'll also notice fine motor as well as skill improvement with these. The way the steps are broken down in these books make them easy for kids to follow along and proud of their end result. How to Draw books are definitely confidence boosters. Stencils are not artistic by themselves, but can certainly be used to add details to works of art. When using stencils, I encourage the students to complete the item that they've traced. For instance, if it's an animal or person, I say make sure to give it specific details like the eyes, the mouth, the hair, any texture or pattern. I also like to show students how they can use stencils for parts of an artwork and have them use their own imagination to add extra items and background details without the help of stencils. I remember having a spirograph kit as a young child and the fascinating art these little wheels would create. When I introduced it to my students at school, they were just as amazed as I remember being. Rubbing plates come in all shapes and sizes and are quite affordable. I have a big collection of them at this point, including leaves, insects, flowers, fine art prints, as well as different textures that will help fill in large spaces. Just so you know, they work best with broken crayons that have been peeled. You hold the crayon flat and rub it on the paper with a texture plate underneath, while the other hand is firmly holding the paper and rubbing plate from moving. iPads can certainly be used in the Drawing Center. There are so many apps out there that promote drawing skills, as well as searching the internet for appropriate images to inspire students for creating their art. I like to post drawing tutorials I have created using the QR code for students to scan and follow along with on their iPad. You can find multiple free apps like the ones pictured here. The Math and Engineering Center allows students the opportunity to create and construct. I love giving kids choices and believe that playing, creating, collaborating, and constructing are all vital to learning. As kids play and discover talents, they become more confident. Not only does this allow them to explore the engineering design process, but also teaches them to work with others, which we all know is an essential life skill. Legos are a great way to encourage creativity. Giving kids a bunch of Legos with no preset instructions excites them and allows them to figure out how to build using the engineering design process. Legos can introduce and foster good sportsmanship through sharing and help kids interact with one another. Having to figure out a new way to put pieces together hones problem solving and makes them see that there's more than one answer to a problem. They figure out on their own what works, what doesn't, and why. Do not purchase Legos for your classroom. If you simply request Legos from your families, you will receive more than you will ever know what to do with. Brain flakes are single-shaped plastic 2D interlocking discs that snap together to create cool 3D designs. They allow endless building possibilities and promote the engineering design process. These will let your imagination run wild. Functioning on many different levels, building blocks provide a variety of learning and educational experiences for our students. When they build a train, a tower, or create a house from their mind, they feel good about themselves and proud of what they can do. Students will also take more risks without fear of rejection or failure. Children need many opportunities to engage in exploration and experience success. It's easy to see why building blocks are important. Straw builders come with special straws and connectors, which can be unique tools for children's development. These develop and stimulate children's imagination, construction skills, and problem-solving abilities, as well as broadening their understanding and cognitive skills. Building with straws promotes engineering, construction, critical thinking, reasoning, mathematics, science, and simple mechanics. With these, children can unleash their imagination and build an endless amount of creations. I actually cut these in half before adding them to my center in order to have double the amount of straws. Tangrams are ancient Chinese puzzles that are great for building reasoning, geometry, and fine motor skills. Students use their imagination by placing them in unique ways to create geometrical shapes, figures, boats, animals, and objects. You can actually find Tangram challenges to post in the centers for students to use by a simple online search. Did you know they make apps that promote engineering and design? These are some of my favorites, and they each offer a free version. Do you have trouble fitting into standard for weaving? I use weaving loops, which are those stretchy fabric loops commonly used for making pot holders. They can be found at the local craft store. My 2nd through 5th graders enjoy weaving with them because it's basically enlarged rubber bands that remind them of the rainbow loom that they use at home. These are inexpensive and can be reused over and over. I have a container for each table full of them. The first day I introduce them, I do a step-by-step lesson explaining and showing how to weave with them, using your fingers as a loom before setting them free to weave on their own. The catch is they must unloop their creations when it's time to clean up. They do not get to keep them. Once I know they understand how they work, I let the weaving loops be an early finisher's activity.
So today I'm going to be demonstrating how you do finger weaving using these weaving loops purchased at the local craft store. These are the same ones you may remember as a child using to weave pot holders. All right, so I'm going to move these out of the way and get started. I want you to use these 4 fingers, and so I typically tell the students, what hand do you write with? Well, I'm right-handed, So I'm going to use my right hand to do the work. My left hand is just going to sit here and be the loom. So I'm going to take my first band and put it over my finger and twist. And then I'm twisting again and twisting again. So it's like little rings. It covers all around my fingers. All right, then we're going to get our next color. And you're doing exactly the same thing. You're twisting till you've got it around. Now we're ready to start pulling. All right, you're going to pull the original color, the one that's closest to the palm of your hands. I'm going to pull, and I'm just going to pull it over and let it go off the back. Pull and let it go. Pull, let it go. Pull and let it go. Right now it doesn't look like much, but in a few minutes you'll be able to see a really cool thing we're going to make. So we're going to do it again. Twist and pull. Pull the last color that's closest to the palm of your hand. You should never see more than 2 colors on the inside of your hand, ever. All right? Let's keep on trucking on. Go by this after I teach it to them. And but maybe they're at home working in their room and their parent tells them it's time to go eat or take a bath or whatever, but they're trying to make a jump rope, but right now they only have a bracelet. So if you take it off, it's just going to start unlooping. So what you have to do is you're going to pull each of these loops, but don't let them go. All right, don't let them go. So see, we have the 4 loops here. And you can either put them on a pencil. You could slide a pencil through here to hold them, or you could just get another loop, one of these weaving loops, and just stick it through. So here you can see those 4 parts where my fingers were. And then maybe I'm ready to work on it the next day or a week later or whatever. We're going to take those loops and carefully put them back on our fingers, and then you can just pick up where you left off. Now let's say you're done. Maybe you're making this into a bracelet or a headband. You do the same exact thing. You carefully pull each loop off, try not to let it go, and let's see, what color do we want to tie? Let's tie it with the yellow. So I'm going to push the yellow loop through. Make sure my 4 things are there so it doesn't start unlooping. All right, so the 4 are there. And then I'm going to take one side of the loop and stick it through the other. So I'm literally taking it and pulling, and that ties it off. And then now you have your rope. You can make it to a bracelet like I've done here. You can make it into a headband, not be too tight for a choker necklace. But then, let's say it's time to go in your classroom and the kids aren't taking them home with them. You don't want to be stuck with all these put together weavings in your class. So they have to go to the last one that they did. It won't work if they do the original one. Like I started with purple today. You can't unloop it from there. It's in there. But you can go from the last one and you literally just pull and they come apart. Super easy. Come apart much easier than putting them together and faster. They just take it apart and that's it. All right, so today we are learning how to weave with weaving loops. Cool. You don't want to show yours?
No.
Okay. Here we go. Show us what you got, Gunner. Gunner, let me see. Hold it up like I said. Show your mom. Are y'all measuring to see who's longer?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're proud of yourself. Look at her weaving. Look how it's done. Nice. What do we have here? Can you hold yours up for me? Wow, it's getting long. Nice.
Trying to make a belt.
You're making a belt? You're making a jump rope.
I hope you found this webinar helpful today and consider incorporating some of these activities and ideas into your classroom. I'll see you next time.